Versus Chapter 2 is here. I won't bore you with a long intro. Please like the video and sub to the channel to support me, and if you haven't already seen my Chapter 1 review, I'll link it below in the description. Also, in the comments below, I'll share a link to the tweet that will contain a link to Chapter 2 if you haven't already seen it before, listening to this video. Make sure to follow me on that Twitter account too. To give you a quick recap, Versus is the new manga by One, the author of One Punch Man and MobPsycho100. In Chapter 1, we learned about the world and many of its characters. Our main character, Hollow, is one of the 47 heroes tasked with saving the world by eliminating the 47 great demon kings. Humanity is on its knees getting stomped out by these demon guys, and Hollow faces off against one of them and gets his ass kicked, but the demon king doesn't even feel like killing him, so he just lets him live another day. Hollow has a brother named Xavi that's a mage, and we find out that while the heroes were out searching the world to find these great demon kings and kill them, Xavi and other mages were also out on a mission, but their mission was to construct a massive summoning circle on the planet large enough to isekai style summon help from other worlds to deal with the demon threat. They succeed and summon a bunch of cool looking soldier guys, and the demons on the scene at the time are completely wiped out, but it all isn't sunshine and roses. These guys from another world who are also facing extinction and request the help from Hollow, Xavi, and the people of this world. That's it for Chapter 1. Now on to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 immediately picks up where Chapter 1 left off. After Kayla asks for help, Xavi can't believe what he's hearing, and he thinks that since they're from another world, he's like, the word help must be a greeting of some sorts. There's no way these powerful warriors from another planet could be asking for our help. This conversation is interrupted by soldiers calling for Kayla to give her a status report, letting her know about how many guys of theirs are wounded and things like that, and she lets them know that it'll be okay now because heroes from another world are helping them out. Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds weird at first, but it makes sense later. For now, Hollow and Xavi and everyone else from this first main character world are like, this is confusing as hell, because what do you mean we've been helping you out? They don't really touch on it immediately, but, after all the characters introduce themselves, Xavi and Kayla continue talking about this whole other world thing, and Xavi is like, hey, aren't you the people that we brought over to our world using summoning magic? Kayla says, no, you guys came through the interdimensional gate that we set up to search for help for our planet. Then the scene zooms out and we can see what really happened. Both worlds call for help at the exact same time and ended up merging their worlds together. Hollow asks about the enemy that Kayla's world is facing, and then we learn that it is actually machines. You see, in the world that Kayla's from, AI has advanced so far that it's started wiping out humanity, and even though they come up with new ways to fight against these robots, they adapt so well that it's become impossible to defeat them. These robots have already conquered 80% of her world, and humanity is now cornered to the point where they have to resort to searching for help from other worlds. Although Xavi doesn't fully comprehend all of this stuff about robots and guns and laser beams, he decides to start picking at Kayla and the people of her world. They have a short pissing contest where they make fun of each other, saying things like, the threats of my world are more dangerous than yours, and it's, a goofy little moment. Unfortunately, though, for our characters, this conversation is cut short and the threat appears. Massive four-legged smiley-faced robots appear and try to bait out the humans from hiding by saying things like, we aren't here to hurt anyone, and we wish to help with food and shelter. Of course, guys like Xavi and people from his old medieval magical world don't realize at first, since, robots don't exist in their world, they start to fall for it. The robots detect Xavi and start to charge towards them. The people from the other world, actually, from here, I'll just start calling the worlds by their threats or something. So the main character is Demon World and Kayla's from Robot World. So anyway, Kayla and the folks from Robot World open fire to suppress the bots. It turns out to be of no use. These robots are not bothered by humanity's firearms and continue advancing through the gunfire. When it looks like the robots are about to wipe out the gunmen, we see them stopped and beaten by earthquake magic. Xavi stepped in to see if he could be of use, and turns out the magic was effective against these AI robots that have never faced magic before. After raining spells on the bots, they're all shut down, and the humans from Robot World are stunned that a few waves of a staff could take down what their bullets and laser rifles couldn't. After seeing the looks on their faces, Xavi eats up the moment, saying, what, have you guys never seen magic before? I gotta admit, so far I'm really enjoying Xavi's character. He's a fun guy, and I usually lean more towards the mage class when I play RPGs and stuff anyway. But anyway, yeah, this goofy moment, after this moment, Kayla extends a hand to Xavi, saying they should form an alliance using Demon World's magic and Robot World's firepower to help save each other's worlds, and Xavi accepts the alliance. All is going well, but our main character, Hollow, which, I haven't really talked about at all in this chapter, he's thinking to himself how great his brother is, and you're reminded that he didn't do anything at all in this chapter so far. Or, even since he was, after his fight with the Demon King in Chapter 1, he barely survived. He woke up, found out that his brother saved his life, and, after that, another, humans from another world appeared, wiped out a bunch of demons, and then Xavi took down a group of machines from another world. Normally, our main character wouldn't be so silent storyline during all of this, but we'll see where it goes. Pane Pane, the fat little fairy helper guy, becomes the bearer of bad news when he smells a horde of demons approaching. Seeing that they're outnumbered, the humans of Robot World ask if there's a safe place nearby. Xavi and company say that there's a place nearby, but Freen, one of the guys from the demon world, will need 5 minutes to conjure a flight spell. To make things worse, the robots that got defeated before are now powering themselves back online. We get a couple of cool fight pages where it looks like things are going well with Kayla's people dealing with the demons and Hallow's people taking care of the robots, but that success has proved to be short-lived when one robot has completed its adaptation process and now learned how to form a barrier capable of defending against magic abilities. Things are really bad, and then they get even worse yet again when Xavi turns around to see Kiva, the captain of Jachi's army, is here. If you forgot who Jachi is, it's the 11th demon king that Hallow lost to in chapter 1. His captain is now here, and he has easily killed one of Kayla's men. He states that he's here to eliminate humans, typical demon shit. The human's gunfire is no match against him, and he shows off superior demon magic such as the ability to enhance his body, making his hands and muscles just massive, allowing him to pluck a bullet back from a gun towards a soldier. He's surprised to find out more humans exist, but he's delighted to have, even more people to kill. One of Kayla's men tries to ram him with the truck, and Kivy just picks up the truck and swings it around, in a circle, turning the dude inside into silly putty, basically. Things are looking very bad, but Hallow, our main character, the guy who's done nothing this whole time, like I said, has finally decided to step it up. To be fair to Hallow, Xavi did previously, earlier in the chapter, tell Hallow not to do anything just in case he's needed, but he's stepping up now, and his broken magical sword of courage has now been super infused with his courage, power, energy, and become some sort of beam sword, sort of like Kuwabaro's from Yu Yu Hakusho. Hallow lets Kivy know that he's the human who survived fighting his master and yells out a challenge to him, but right when he's about to attack, his courage runs out. Turns out he was actually afraid to die. And this looks like the perfect opportunity for Kivy to kill him, but Hallow tosses his half blade at the newly adapted robot, putting himself between both bad guys. But the robot actually fires missiles, at Hallow, trying to hit Hallow, but they actually hit and damage Kivy. From here, Kivy attacks the robot, and the robot changes its attack priority to Kivy. While the two fight, all the humans gather because enough time has passed and the flight spell is now complete, and they can flee the scene. Kivy nearly stops Hallow from escaping by grabbing his leg, extending his arm from where he was standing, but Kivy's arm is blasted off by the robot, allowing the humans to get away. But now Kivy has finally turned his sights onto the machines and decided to commit his time to eliminating them also. Kivy and the robot both Hulk out and go into their ultimate forms, but we don't really see the conclusion of that, but you can assume that they fought it out. Instead, we wake up at the camp Cavi and Freen spoke about. They made it safely. Hallow feels bad about not being useful, and Cavi says, hey man, don't worry about it. But things may be a little more serious than we initially thought. Cavi walks with his brother out from the room they're in, and Hallow sees what's become of the world. Turns out their world was connected to more than just one other world, and the camp that they returned to is now being used as shelter for people from many different worlds. Looks like everyone is running from trouble on their home planet, and all of their worlds have been merged into one. This brings us to the end of chapter 2. I'm really excited for the future of this series, man, for real. In the last 2 pages, you can see many different types of people that have been converged here, and this is shaping up to be something really cool. There's cavemen and superheroes and some guy that looks like they came straight out of an Elder Scrolls game. There's some dudes here that looks like they might use magic or something with a barcode on the back of his head in the bottom left of the screen here. Above that, you got these old soldier-looking guys. On the right, there's this mustachioed gentleman that looks like he came from Radiant, and this average Japanese family of 3 is the most out of place. Everyone's from a fantasy setting, type of world, and you got this grandpa and his granddaughter and grandson who brought a Nintendo Switch. I didn't get the chance to admire the art, but I really like the pages we get earlier in the chapter of the 2 worlds overlapping and colliding. I got mad Halo Forge vibes where you would, create a city or something. You'd be messing around in Forge and there's these mountains and fields and you just drop a big city on top of it. Suddenly there's buildings on top of, plains and stuff. It's really cool. I'm interested to see how the other worlds will visibly overlap and all the diverse cultural differences and fantasy elements that will come into play. This manga is really a big ass toy box adventure, basically. You and your siblings, you back in the day would grab a handful of random toys out of wherever you kept your toys and you slap John Cena up against Godzilla and Pikachu and Sonic and, it don't gotta make sense, but it worked. Basically, it's like Smash Bros, the manga, but it's Smash Bros, the manga by 1. It's crazy. So anyway, thanks guys for sticking out if you did. Sorry it took so long for me to drop a new update. Had a lot going on. Already working on my next video. Please subscribe if you haven't and drop a comment letting me know what you thought. Have a good one, guys. Peace.